How to write a successful grant application. So, your jurisdiction has more needs than funding. Competitive grants are one way to bridge that gap, but as the name implies, they are competitive. This video will help ensure your grant application tells a compelling story to be as competitive as it can be and hopefully get you across the funding finish line. Before you start, clearly define your project. What are you trying to accomplish? What do you need to accomplish it? Do you have partners? Do you have any funding at all? Step 1 is to research and identify funding opportunities. Look for grants that align with your project's goals and objectives. Check eligibility criteria to ensure you qualify for that particular grant. Step 2 is to thoroughly understand the application guidelines. Each grant has specific requirements and criteria. Read the guidelines carefully to ensure you meet all the requirements. A rule of thumb is to read the application guidelines, proposal, or notice of funding opportunity at least 5 times before you put your pen to paper. It is important to be aware of submission deadlines, required supplemental documents, and formatting instructions. Some of these take time to procure, so it is necessary that you start early. Step 3 is developing a strong proposal. Your proposal should clearly outline your project, its goals, and its impact. A good approach is to continually refer to the scoring criteria as you fill out your application. This will help you understand how your answers align with what the application reviewers will be looking for. Here are the key components. For most grants, you'll be asked to include an executive summary. In that, you'll want to provide a brief overview of your objectives. Writing this first can help you hone your message for the rest of the grant, but regardless of when you write the executive summary, carefully review it at the end to ensure that it's clearly and accurately summarizing your application's strongest points. When possible, include photos or graphics that illustrate the problem that you are trying to solve. Next, explain the problem or need your project addresses. Use data and evidence to support your claims. This is where you tell the story of the problem that you will solve with the funding. For example, this roadway has had a certain number of crashes, or this infrastructure is in poor condition. Next, describe your project in detail, including the methods and activities you will use to achieve your goals. This is the how you will address your problem. This could be installing traffic safety countermeasures, adding new infrastructure, replacing existing deficient infrastructure with new, modern material. You will then move on to the project's goals and objectives. Outline the specific, measurable outcomes you aim to achieve. This is where you get into specific details and break down your problem or problems and describe what you will do and how your approaches align with the intent of the grantor's goals. Remember, all grantors have their own goals they want to achieve with the money that they will award, so you will need to ensure that your objectives align with theirs. When possible, use the grantor's own words or terminology in your application so that they see their goals are clearly reflected. This is different than the needs statement. The goals and objectives are the micro to the needs statement's macro. Next, you will need to provide a detailed budget that justifies your funding request. Include all expenses and how the funds will be used. Grantors want to see where their money will go. Most grant programs require that you provide some of your own money as matching funds. Be sure to account for that. Evaluation plan. In your evaluation plan, you will describe how you will measure the success of your project. Include metrics and methods for tracking progress. Grantors want to have some assurance their money will be used effectively. Step 4 is gathering supporting documents. These can include letters of support, resumes of key personnel, right-of-way agreements, funding match commitments, etc. Grantors typically ask for 2 types of documents, required and optional. Be sure to include all required documents, because if you miss any of those, it is likely your application will be rejected before it makes it through a full evaluation. Make sure that all documents are up to date and relevant to your application. Step 5 is to review and edit your application. Proofread for spelling and grammatical errors, ensure all sections are clear and concise, and consider asking a colleague or mentor to review your application for feedback. Step 6 is to submit your application before the deadline. Ensure you follow all submission deadlines, including format and method of delivery. Remember, the typical federal competitive grant takes nearly 25 hours to write, review, and complete, so be sure to start early. Be sure to keep a copy of your application for your own records. Thank you for watching our tutorial on how to write a competitive grant application. Good luck with your application, and we hope you secure the funding you need to bring your project to life.